everybody, welcome to Under the Hood. This is a live version at Digital Dealer. Atul and I are actually together in person. It happens a couple times a year, but yeah, we're here. I was here day one. Atul just got in late last night, so I wanted to recap what I saw the first day, and I think there's some parallels to where Atul was at. He was actually at an event where there was probably more dealership rooftops at that smaller event than there are here, but we'll get into that. But basically, high level, right now, automation is hot, CDPs are hot, personalization is hot as well, and you hear these buzzwords about AI, but again, automation, CDP, personalization, that's what dealerships are asking for. That is what the vendors are pitching. And actually, someone said something interesting. I think it was Julie at O'Brien Automotive Family. On the opening keynote, she said, "We're tired of being sold leads and traffic. We want to build relationships." So that's what we saw yesterday. What can you tell us about where you were?
Yeah, so I was actually, I could probably say this because they're investors of ours, but I was at a Holman super group. Okay. And so the dealership groups that were present are, Holman, Flo, Paul Hanka, Sewell, New Country, Sarah, Bergstrom. These are some powerful dealer groups, and really the premise of the conversation was very much, a replica or kind of aligned with what seems to be talked about here a lot, which is, but I want to sort of expand it, which is controlling your data, right? When you're a large dealership group, or even a small one, we just spoke to a dealership that has 4 rooftops, and we talk about controlling your data, centralizing your data, and then building automation around that data in a way where you have control over that destiny. You're not sort of paying for every new feature, every new vendor that wants to tap into that data and resell you back leads. Instead, you could actually start to harness this yourself with a central system. CDP's the name, right? We've been talking about CDPs for about a year now, and in fact doing CDP for over 3 years. And so building those shopper journeys, understanding how to segment those users, putting them into those buckets inside of third-party systems like Facebook and Google to better target advertising. And then more importantly, doing your own marketing. And when we say marketing, it's very different than advertising per se. It's sort of what happens on your website, what happens in email. Everywhere you can control the message and it's your direct access to that consumer, you need to tap into that and take advantage of that.
Got it. Yeah, I was excited to hear the things that were being said, because it's like, man, we've been talking about this for a while, and even talking to people at this event, I don't have to go as deep in trying to explain it. I say, oh yeah, Orbee's a customer data platform, and they've heard that, they're aware of it, and it's even cool to see some of the bigger companies here trying to come into automotive. Like Salesforce was here talking about their CDP with Axiom and Polk. So dealers are waking up to the fact that their data is super valuable, and those other topics that I mentioned, personalization and automation, that is all enabled by centralizing your data, and then you're able to use to leverage personalization and automation. So
yeah, and I will say that what's important is what kind of is being talked about now is all these aspects that most of the vendors that exist alongside us have kind of caught up to certain aspects of things we've been talking about. Now, I would say, it almost reminds me of Google reminding Apple that they launched crash detection 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
But
that's what Apple does.
But more importantly, though, is we like what Chris was saying is we love the fact that the whole industry is now talking about these aspects. But what's important for dealers now is how do you activate that data in the same software that you're collecting the data? Because again, we don't want to just kind of drop acronyms and ideas, and then simply have disparate systems again, where you have to build, a stack that has 7 different vendors that you're paying them each $2,000, $4,000. You want a single vendor that can really connect all those dots. And that's what we're still already pretty ahead of the game in terms of that, and especially for dealer groups. What's not being talked about today, because the audience isn't so much groups that I was covering when I was at the super group meeting, is what do you do when you have 40 stores? 30 stores, 100 stores. So much data, not only from one store, but now you have the group level, and then you have an aggregation across all of them. So your journeys, your relationships are no longer with one rooftop. Your relationship is between the brand and the customer.
So wait, say that again. Whose relationship is between the brand and the customer?
Right. So the dealer group, right, has a brand.
Yes.
And they have different rooftops. Each of these rooftops have different logos on them, right? So you've got a Ford, you've got a CDJR, you've got a Honda, you've got a Toyota, etc. And so what happens is a lot of this automation we're talking about, the collection of data, is happening at the dealer level. Right. But when you start to actually connect all of these dots together, you're now having a group level view. So maybe they came in from one of your stores, but they actually end up being a candidate for another one of your stores to buy. And so that's really the important thing, is you're building a customer journey and a customer relationship at the brand level.
Gotcha. So yes, the customer is looking at the dealership group brand instead of the OEM brand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That hasn't really been talked about as much.
That'll be talked about next year.
Yeah, next year. But they are talking about, another thing they talked about at the opening keynote was the culture that they're going to have to sort of establish, because sales have been hot, dealerships have been making money, and so the leadership up there was saying, look, we're going to have to tell them things are going to slow down.
Really? I must have missed that.
Yeah, that was day one.
I think that's important, because it's not going to be a lead that comes in day one, and then buys on day two, or comes into the store day two and buys.
Yeah, it's the longer life cycle.
It's a longer life cycle.
Between different rooftops.
And that's when the amount of data that you have to collect is going to be more robust. And it's not going to happen in your CRM. It's not going to happen inside of your DMS. It's going to happen in this new layer of technology, like the marketing cloud.
The marketing cloud. That is what I've been telling Orbee is a marketing cloud. That's the easiest description. That's my elevator pitch. But yeah, that's been Under the Hood, day one recap of Digital Dealer. Tomorrow we'll kind of throw another one together. We still have about two hours to listen to some more keynotes and stuff. So we hope you check in again on the next episode. Thanks.